Morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Check 1 2 1 2.
Check 1 2 1 2. This thing on.
First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Hey, cameras on, looking good. Mic sounds nice. Looks like we're good to go. Only I can be as right as the tech.
Hey.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chammers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Buddy live from the Culture House this morning. Man, it's going down. Get your culture on. Monday, September 18th, 2023. Good morning, all. Thanks for joining us this early Monday morning.
Man.
Definitely feeling the Mondays today. Definitely.
I'm feeling Monday and Sunday today. Huh?
You feeling Friday through Monday. Thank you for joining us over there on the 6:30 Club, man. Really appreciate you guys getting up this morning and checking us out over on the radio channel. Just to remind you, we do have a digital channel that is going down, First Sky Omaha Radio. You can ask your Alexa to turn it on for you, or you can go to the website, firstskyOmaha.com, hit the listen button, check us out.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate that very much. But anyway, yeah, here we are, Monday, September 18th, a fresh edition. Yeah, how's everybody doing? I see some people up and about in the chat already. Leah Keister gives
Okay.
us happy, marvelous Monday to all. I like that.
Okay.
Pop says, good Monday morning, First Sky, and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pop.
Hey.
Up early with us, up even earlier than we are. So I appreciate that very much.
Man.
West Coast listeners. Yeah, man. I think we're doing all right this morning. How you feeling, buddy?
I mean, I say the fact that we're here this morning is a success.
Okay.
Man, Mark Manor along with us. I actually wasn't expecting to see you this morning, bro. I figured
Oh,
everybody who went to George last night was gonna be, taking
nah,
some time.
bro. Mark's a veteran, bro. He go to the show and then stay out till 4 o'clock in the morning with the band and get up at 6 go to work, bro. He knows what's happening.
Yeah,
Appreciate you though. It was good seeing you last night. Yeah, we did go check out George
yeah,
last night, man. As you can see, I didn't scream my voice out, so now I'm all froggy this morning. But
yeah.
yeah, it was a funky good time. And also, I got my headphones up way high this morning because my ears still ringing. It's a
Really?
loud show. It's a loud show. Yeah, yes, most definitely.
I mean, I stepped out to go use the bathroom and still didn't miss.
You breaking up? You breaking up? Say again.
Oh, can you hear me? I said I
Yeah.
I stepped out to use the show. Like I could still hear it all the way in the restroom.
Oh yeah, it was loud. It was a loud show this morning. Loud show last night for sure. Extra loud, man. You know, I've seen George Clinton several times now, and yeah, I can tell when you know the sound people are trying to keep up with him because he be all over the place. He don't never do nothing like his set. So he'll put a vocal mic on a horn if he
Man,
feels like it. all that kind of stuff. But it was good, man. It was a wild, funky, good time. So if you missed it, I'm sorry. But we did see a lot of heads out there last night. A lot of people,
Man,
which was
yeah, man.
cool. Cool to run into everybody. Yeah. Yeah. If you missed that, I don't
Two
know, man.
chat chimers.
Hmm. Yeah, I felt it. Would a couple of people told me that they were going to go see them in other states since they missed last night. So they're gonna do that thing, man. This is his last tour, so they might hit the hometown and go check him out. So if you see him anywhere else close, Kansas City or Chicago or something, you might want to jump out and check it out because I think this is gonna be his last tour ever. So we'll see.
Man.
Of course, you can ask Mark Manor. We've heard that before from groups. We retired. They'll be back the year after. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, that's what's going on with us, man. Last night, late night with George Clinton, and now we're getting to this morning. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Of course, we got the senators on today, brother senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne coming through,
Hey.
and yeah, we'll catch up with them on some things. Yeah, you lagging pretty bad over there, man. You might want to check your windows open. Your internet's lagging pretty bad. I don't know how
Okay.
close you are to the modem. Yep. But anyway,
Behind it.
yeah, we're still over there with limited gear over there. Even though the Culture House has been generous enough to let us come through there, and they got the facility. I think they're doing some web stuff and some podcasts and stuff out of there too. But we didn't bring the equipment that we needed in order to do that. So just bear with us on the tech side today. We'll do the best we can. Appreciate you coming in, Wanda Lewis, letting us know that Facebook is working.
Hey.
Good morning to you. Mark Manor said you can tell they're setting up the next generation of P Funk to get it going. They've been doing that for a while. See, that's what I was saying. It was definitely like I've seen many shows, and I can tell that this was one where they're setting up the next generation. This is the beginnings of some of the younger folks that were there, and they don't got it yet. They don't got it all the way. They're still setting it up for sure. But it was still fun. I was telling Buddy last night, this is probably the worst show I've ever seen. But the worst
Man.
George Clinton show is always still really good. So yeah, but it was good. I mean, it was really good. A lot of good players, a lot of good and a beautiful crowd this time. I always tell the story about last time I saw George Clinton out here in Omaha. There's probably about 14 people in the audience. It was an outside gig. I was like, "What is this?" So yeah, it was pretty packed. Pretty packed. Mark says that was Diaper Man's kids singing. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Earl Jr. So that's what's up. And he sang good too. He said he was born into the funk. He was born into it. Did a good
Man.
job. How'd you feel about the
The
show? But
fun.
it was your first time seeing George, right?
Yeah, man. Um, kind of upset. You saying it was the worst,
You
but
you you breaking up pretty bad, bro.
okay. 1 second.
Um, yeah, I didn't want. I felt bad telling you that, but it was still good. It was still good. Um, but yeah, it was. It was. I could tell George was kind of mad. He was like punishing people on stage, but it was still entertaining. It's always a wild show on stage anyway. But last night was real, especially kind of just like all over the place. But he be holding it down. He's the master of ceremonies for sure. Let us know what you did over the weekend. Let's see, Buddy's coming back in here. Let us know what you did over the weekend. If you did anything fun, let us know if you chilled out. What was going on with you? Love to hear from you. The chat chimers on how your weekend was. Do anything fun? Do anything special? Let us know. Love to hear about it. We definitely have a few things we want to talk about today. But as we mentioned before, of course, this is the day we check in with the senators. So stay tuned for them. And we got some other things going on too. Like tonight, Dave Chappelle is tonight.
It's a
So
celebration.
yeah, man, we ain't done. We ain't done celebrating. Buddy's in town for a reason, for sure. So we'll have a little bit of a half little later on today, of course, and we'll talk about that. Not much going on today, except for, like I said, Dave Chappelle's in town, so that's going to be a huge thing for the city. And man, we've had a succession of pretty big stars coming through, man. Diana Ross, you know what I'm saying? George Clinton. Now we got Dave Chappelle. I'm sure the Mark Manor can run down a whole bunch more. Love it. He says I've seen way worse George shows. He was way more with it than the late '90s shows.
Okay.
And I remember him in the '90s shows, and he was kind of out there. George was out there, but I remember the band being tighter and more practiced, and it was more members, more original members, and stuff like that that was playing with him. So the show was different, even though George was kind of out of his mind in the '90s,
Man.
a little bit, a little bit. He was definitely master of ceremonies this time around, though. Like you can tell when George is kind of chilling because now he's listening to everything, and
Mm-hmm.
trying to get people on beat and to slow down and with the funk and all that. But yeah, pretty fun thing to see though, man. And the Steelhouse is probably my favorite venue in town right now. Steelhouse is dope.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about Steelhouse?
Man, impressed, impressed, impressed.
Was your first
Definitely.
time there too?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I could definitely see a lot of big shows happening there. It's actually, kind of larger than it seems from the outside. Like it's pretty good
Oh
space in
yeah,
there. Pretty
yeah,
good space in there. And again, that was designed by a sister, if I'm not mistaken, man. So shout out to the team behind that, man. They showed up and showed out. It's definitely nice to have that type of venue. Um, and you mentioned the size. It's not too small, not too big. It's kind of that sweet spot size for a lot of people who can't really sell out a stadium or an arena like that.
yeah. It was very strategic because they did their research. They know how much our venues, can hold, 5 to 10 at CenturyLink or whatever, and then you
Hmm.
go down to like slow down that can hold like 700. So you needed that 2,000, 2,500. You need that in between
Right,
somewhere downtown for them to be able to have a real show come through,
right,
state of the art sound and lights and all that good stuff. So yeah,
man. Yeah,
place reminds me of a big First Avenue club is what it reminds me of out
yeah.
here in
You said that.
Dallas. Hmm.
Do you see like having a venue like this kind of changing the landscape in Omaha as far as shows and things like that?
I mean, it has so far. I remember when we were talking about this earlier, before it got built. I was saying, well, what are we gonna do with this? We're gonna have, how many people coming to Omaha? You know what I'm saying? I thought it was gonna be like where all the country music shows is gonna be at from now on and all that. Gene
Hmm.
Lake Mall was open up at the same time and all that. Now, man, they seem to be. Well, first of all, what's the name of the company, Mark, that brings everybody out?
Live Nation.
They're hooked up with them. So like
Hmm.
that's a whole another caliber of artists that
Yeah.
you didn't really even get to see too much before. So like I don't remember the last time I saw Queens of the Stone Age, which I think they're gonna be there
Hmm.
coming up. And some bands like that are pretty big, but they were big back in the day. So it's just gonna be good. Mark Manner says it's so nice because you never feel trapped and can move around and escape talkers and stuff. Even the sold out Flaming Lip show was comfortable.
He said escape talkers.
He's like,
Yeah, yeah. I'll be right back. I'll holler at you. I'll holler at
"Hey
you.
man, I'm gonna go get a beer. I'll be right back." On the other side of the joint. Yeah, plenty of lobby space, nice patio. I remember telling somebody last night too. I remember driving by and hearing a band out on the patio, and the patio was packed.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. That
several
was nice.
places to play in there. Yeah.
Mm.
Mama Guy said, "Good morning, First Sky fam. Good morning, Mama Guy. How you
Hey,
doing? Appreciate
yeah.
you this morning."
Also, nice distribution of bars out there. Like they got food. You don't gotta fight through the crowds to get you a drink or
Hmm.
get you some grub. Nice distribution.
True that. True. Yeah. Yeah. But they definitely got access to bars, not long lines and all that good stuff. So yeah, it was cool. It was real good to see everybody and George brings everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
The Grateful Dead heads and the old funksters and the young rappers and he
Mm-hmm.
brings everybody out. So
Man.
yeah, it's good. I was.
Next,
Mhm.
I was just gonna say I would like to see like a viable music festival like that kind of capital district area is kind of coming together for a nice size music festival.
Mm, the Capital District Music Fest.
Yeah.
I used to hear some rumblings about a jazz fest they was trying to have out there in the Capital District around
Mm.
the time that the Jewel was being built.
It would be nice. I don't know if you remember when they had Rick's Boathouse Cafe. They used to have the jazz fest out there on the riverside.
That was Tim Clark, Riverfront Jazz and Blues Festival. He did that for years and years.
Man, it was an event. That was an
Yeah.
event. Should bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back now that the Riverfront's back right.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities out here, and plus, and of course, Gene Leahy Mall is now open now. That also can hold 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people. So yeah, several good places that, with with state of the art stuff to be able to bring some good artists, and there's still still a lot of people going on. I was skeptical at first because there was a big if we build it they will come attitude going on,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
they built it and they coming. So I guess it worked.
Yeah, I mean, but there is a concerted, intentional plan from the city to boost tourism. We've kind of been hearing that buzzword going around. I've read a few like city planning, just doing research for this show. A lot of language pointing towards tourism. So yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see that, and also how that impacts the economy of the community.
Hmm. Yep, yep. Love to hear what your thoughts are on that. Anybody in the chat besides us three been to the Steel House? Have you seen them? Have you seen that situation yet? Definitely let us know. Love to hear from you on that. But yeah, good morning to everybody. We were kind of still in the good mornings this morning with the chat,
Yeah,
but we're definitely gonna jump into the show. So stay tuned. Like I said, we got some things to talk about today. Few subjects that you guys have put in Friends of First Sky Omaha. We really appreciate that very much. And then we'll get to speaking to Brother Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. So stay tuned. We will be right back. You're here for a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
Paul B. Buddi3 Da Gawd. Stay tuned. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All right, good. You're straightened out now. Monday, September 18th, 2023. Thanks for joining us on this Monday morning. We're both feeling the case of the Mondays. Let us know how you guys are feeling. Ooh, man. Yeah, it's been tough. And so we only just begun. We still got Dave Chappelle tonight. Mark Matter says in the chat, once they get established, it's going to be a lot of younger acts coming in. That is their ultimate goal from talking to them. That's what's up, man. Shout out to
Okay.
Omaha Performing Arts that seem to be on the ball out here in a big, big way. Love that.
Yeah. Getting down.
Yeah. Mira Sanchez says, I've never been to the steel house, but I have had to go to the house to get the steel. You crazy, man. You crazy, crazy. Shout out to Mira Sanchez in the chat this morning.
Man.
Appreciate you, man. How you been doing? How was your weekend, Mira Sanchez? Let us know how your weekend was. We talking about our fun, but what did you guys have any fun this weekend?
Man. There's actually a lot going on this weekend.
Yeah.
Drove past a couple festivals. A lot of food trucks out in Little Bohemia by
Mhm.
Tiny House.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Um, Also, Gene Leahy was jam packed. I think they had that cultural fest over the
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, we ran into Josh Tay, Chad Chimer Josh, and he was out and about at the funk show last night too, and he told us that it was pretty. He said a pretty decent turnout. He said,
Yeah,
it's like what did he say, 1,000 people out there?
looked like it. Looked like
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Said something about 1,000 people, and he was like, I wish there was a better turnout. And I was like, man, what we wishing for these days? 1,000 people in Omaha somewhere is good numbers,
Man, especially with so much other things going on, man. That's a good pool.
man. For real, for real. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah. So lots of things happened this weekend. Pretty decent weather. I hope everybody got outside a little bit. The weather was really nice.
Man,
Pretty decent.
beautiful.
Cooling down just a tad bit, which is always good. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. We got a lot going on this week. Again, this is kind of that season though. When the weather gets good during the fall, starts getting late summer, fall, and there's a lot. And we're right in the mix, man. So everything's happening right now, and then of course we move into the season. This is a nonprofit town here, so we move into that fundraising season after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
and then it's ball after gala after ball. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot happening. Like I said last week, I went to the Girls Inc. Dinner. So there's here we come. We're going to Connecco coming up.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot happening. Of course, Benson Theater is also having our fundraiser November 11th.
Okay.
We're doing what's called the Bonalto Ball, which is going to be cool. So we'll have big band on stage, and it's going to be one of them ones, man. Red carpet, dress up, come through, raise some funds for the theater, for all the work that has been happening this past couple years. Now we're about 2 years into the theater now.
Really?
Yeah,
Already?
I'm having a tough time like going back and grabbing footage and stuff like that from all the things that's happened, because I mean we've been serving up for the
Man,
community in a big way.
some great shows.
Every group and everybody's been in there to use the space and do some stuff. We have some really really awesome stuff going on over there, and we want to continue that next year. So big fundraiser coming up there, and everywhere, man. Everywhere else is really kind of going moving in that season. So this gets busy around this time of year. Then it starts slowing down. What, late December, late November, early December, for people to celebrate their celebrations, and then the next thing you know, you're trying to dodge the snow.
Man, it's coming, y'all. It's coming.
Mayor Sanchez says he finished building our fence this weekend. He was out there building fences like Denzel. That's what's up. Mark Banner said they had the Independence Day Fest in South Omaha. I went there to eat and ran into these cars flying flags and carnival. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, I saw pictures of that. I wanted to get up there and get some tacos, but I couldn't make it. But yeah, it was Mexican Independence Day yesterday, is or the day before yesterday as well. So yeah, they do it big out in South. Anytime they got anything going on, they got parades and all kinds of stuff popping. So
Man.
shout out to them. That's what's up. Cool, cool, cool. Thanks for letting us know what else is going on. What you guys did. Anybody else do anything? Let us know. In the meantime, between time, what's some of the stuff we're going to talk about today, buddy?
Now, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, you good to go
Okay.
right now.
Okay. Cool. 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 So yeah, we have a few stories, of course, as Paul mentioned. Expecting to catch an update from the Senators, put some respect on their name. Always
Mhm.
looking forward to that. Also looking at what's going on in Nebraska's child welfare situation.
Mm.
Yeah, man, that saga still continues. Again, foster children still really in the area of concern. The Nebraska office is actually calling for an investigation and looking into that situation. Uh,
Mm.
Also, still looking at front porch investments, housing still a here in Omaha, and they have the green, which is again a response to redlining and millions
So
of dollars.
yeah, yeah, you breaking up. You said we were talking about the green lining that's getting ready to come from front porch. There's kind of that's like in response to the red lining that's
Yep,
happening, bringing in funds, right? Yep. Yeah,
yep,
these
yep.
screens don't kill you.
I only have one screen open, so we'll street internet. I'm on
Yeah,
a whole nother. Yeah,
yeah,
24th Street. Redlining, definitely a history that we talk. Greenlining project again in a response to that trying to, if you will,
yeah.
is proposing federal tax cut on Social Security. So again,
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. You breaking up too bad. We can't even understand what you're saying right now.
ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. You might have to you might have to open up you might have to close that one down in order to get that through. Yeah, bear with us. Like I said, we're in a different spot. As you can see, Buddy is live from the Culture House right now, and dealing with some internet issues. And we're gonna try to get those internet issues straight as we go, so we can definitely have the show going on. So yeah, okay. Oh, okay. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Then maybe it's just because you're drawing from both. That's the only thing I can say. Wanda Lewis says, I just rebooted, thought it was on my end. Yeah, that's what. Sorry about that, Miss Lewis. That's why we're trying to let you know what's going on there. Definitely got some issues going on with the internet over there, and we'll have to we'll see how that's going to work out here. We'll definitely see how it's going to work. If we can't understand, if we can't come through, if we can't come through, we can't understand you. I know we got to figure something else out, maybe on the phone or something like that. That'll take less bandwidth. So bear with us on that. We apologize for the situation here. There you go. You back?
Am I back?
Yeah, it looks like you're back now.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see how this 24th Street internet holds up.
Yeah,
Um, but yes, again, as I mentioned,
Wi-Fi situation I think is the main thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Senator Pete Ricketts is proposing federal tax cuts on Social Security income, which is again what I was saying. Definitely continue to look at the tax situation here in Nebraska, and as far as Social Security income goes, um, what does that mean for our elders? What does that mean for our retired population?
Yeah, this is my pops was telling me this one time that Omaha is one of the places that will charge you tax on your retirement. So this sounds like he's trying to at least get rid of some of that. We'll see. We'll dig into the article and see what's going
Mm.
on there.
Yep, yep. And then last but not least, looking at some census data information from the Omaha World Herald, it looks like there's a steep drop in Nebraska income. So we'll definitely look at what's going on with the economy here in the state, which frequently kind of waves the low unemployment flag. But what does it really mean in Nebraska?
Hmm. Okay. Well, there you go. Once again, we got to thank everybody who put those in Friends of First Sky Omaha. That's where we pulled this morning. Most of the stories that we're talking about today are stuff that you, the Chad Chimers, have put into Friends of First Sky Omaha. So we appreciate that. Uh, 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 oh, Saranda Late Pools in the chat. She says Dollhouse can always accommodate if you need options for broadcast. Appreciate that.
Hey,
Thank you
what's
for
good? What's
opening your
good?
doors to us. That's sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's what's up. Amy H. Dot gives us a good morning, fam. Good morning to you. Yeah, let's try to go ahead and dig in, man. Like I said, we were expecting the senators to come through here any minute, so let's jump on a couple of those. As a matter of fact, I think Marlon Harrison is one of the chat chimers that jumped in. He's also one of the guys over there that's joined the content creator camp, and it was good that he's kind of thinking about some of these issues a lot more now. He put some stuff in Friends First Guy, and I like how he's like, please talk to the senators about this. So that's a nice reminder, man. If you got something that you see in the headlines that you think we should talk about, put that in there, but also put a suggestion in. What do you want to talk about when it comes to that particular subject, or who do you want to speak with about it? Who should we bring on, and all that good stuff. It's a good one. So well, I'll leave it up to Buddy. Where you want to jump in at? Good morning, Brooke. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming in. Where do you want to jump into first, my man? Uh-oh. Just to let you know, we Buddy's broadcasting live from the Culture House, so we got a little technical difficulty when it comes to the internet situation over there. He's in North Omaha, so we trying to figure it out. So bear with us. It's not your computer; it is us this time around. So yeah, we'll do the best we can here. Apologize for it.
Yeah,
Yep,
you hear
yep,
me?
yep. Got you.
Okay, good, good. So yeah, you want to jump into an article?
Yeah.
At least try to. At least try to bear with us. But looking at redlining again, Front Porch Investments has received millions of dollars. I'm not confident. Can you hear me? Am I still there?
Yeah. You should.
Okay, 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 okay,
We
okay.
got no confidence monitor here.
Yeah, I don't. But again, one local investment company, talking about Front Porch Investments, has put millions into Greenlining, which again is a response to the historically red line neighborhoods, specifically of North Omaha,
Mhm.
which are impacted by again those racist real estate programs from the last century that still have an impact again on our community. And Front Porch Investments is committing at least $1 million to building and maintaining home ownership in North Omaha. It is pioneering practice in Nebraska and is navigated by members of the impacted community. Um, the efforts again address inequality or inequity in Omaha comes in the form of course, home equity loans with 0% interest rates. Also, Chris Baby Boy Bolin has even done research on the racially motivated covenants
Mhm.
that a lot of houses still exist on, and though that language is still in a lot of the leases and deeds of a lot of properties around Omaha, even to this day. But the Front Porch program, which Lopez volunteers, again, South Omaha native Itzel Lopez, who's actually a South Omaha homeowner, is both personal and practical, saying, I love this community and I want to see it thrive. I still reside in this community and I want other homeowners to stay here because these are people that care about the community. The Greenlining is reinvesting in the areas. Um, According to a press release from Front Porch, interested homeowners with properties located in formerly quote unquote red line census tracts. So these are specific zip codes and areas of the city. But you may submit an online program eligibility interest form between June 19th and July 10th. Eligibility requirements include geographic location and income considerations. But again, this is only the first round. There will be other windows of this program opening up. So again, if you are a homeowner interested in what Front Porch is doing, definitely check them out on their website. Um, Make sure I'm getting it right. Front Porch. Oh, nope. That. 1 second. Let me try to find this because this link isn't working. But I'll try to
Mhm.
find the website for Front Porch and post it in the chat.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, yeah. This we got some questions about front porch. That's all I remember about it. I think there's we've been meeting some people that are a part of it that run it. Um, Amy H. Dot, thank you. She says front porch is working with Project Houseworks for the green lighting. The last OHA board meeting I attended talked about an MOU to Project Houseworks to sell OHA scattered houses to
Hmm.
them for this effort. That's
Hmm.
interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Yeah. So I remember that every time anything comes up that when we're talking about front porch, it's interesting how we're seeing that, and whoever put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha pulled it in from the Blair Freeman page. So Blair Freeman are made that announcement. They're going to be part of this process as well. If you guys don't remember who they are, it's the women owned contracting company, black that the three black women are a part of, or that own, excuse me, and they're the contractors for these projects. It looks like, sounds like. So yeah, we'll see. And so we'll see what that means. Like I said, we have to kind of dig in to find out what's going on with Front Porch all the time. Yeah, Blair Freeman is the general contractor for this project. Exactly.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
there you go. I think Amy H. Dot is the one that put it in. Appreciate you putting that in. Friends of First Sky there. So yeah, yeah, it's interesting that they are going to be the contractors for this. So they're keeping it all in the gang. Everything sounds good on the up and up. It just is, to me, it's like who's going to benefit from the funds. Is $1 million going to do it? Is this going to contribute to some affordable housing around it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I definitely want some more information. But I do like this whole idea about funding that they're calling greenlining.
Yeah.
And they're gonna obviously gonna do it within the redlining district that existed before. It still kind of exists now a little bit.
Right. That
Yeah.
part. That part. Also, this is a part of the Economic Recovery Act. I believe there was like 25 million or so of those funds set aside specifically for housing.
Mm,
And I think Front Porch was greenlit for those funds.
mm. Okay, that's right. Yeah, I think we did talk about that a little bit. Yep.
Yep.
So I think the next move, maybe we can bring somebody in from Front Porch. Seemed like we had somebody on before, but I can't remember who that was. But I'd like to bring somebody in from Front Porch and just talk a little bit more about the program and understanding some things. Amy H. Dot says Front Porch motive to keep people housed. There are good people heading this up. Meredith Dillon and Naomi Hadaway. Oh, I didn't know
That's
Naomi was over there. I
that's
thought
what I was
we had.
thinking of.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we definitely need to have Naomi on again. It's been a while, and talk to her a little bit about that. So that's good to know. So that I'd like to co-sign there. I appreciate that, Amy H. Dot letting us know about more about Front Porch. Definitely, the mission of keeping people housed is great, especially in the areas where we traditionally are getting redlined in or getting pushed out of. So yeah, we'll see, man. So maybe some of this money going to these efforts here will be good. So
Yeah, I wonder, does anybody know anyone who has dealt with Front Porch, or who has, volunteered or benefited from any of their programs? Yeah, let us know if you
That's a
have
great
any more
question.
information.
Great question. Love that. Cool. What's your thoughts on that, man? I know that you've been right here with me on us figuring out what's going on with Front Porch and some of the things that they've been tied to. What's your thoughts on that? All right, buddy, stuck. Once again, this just letting you know every time you get stuck, I'm gonna let you know so you don't go and restart your own computer. But we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here. He's live from the Culture House, and so you've got a few internet problems over there. But bear with us. We'll keep on jumping in and out until we can do what we need to
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
But you're asking me, what are my thoughts on the housing situation or Front Porch?
Yeah. Front porch. Some of the efforts that we've witnessed over time, front porch do and be a part of.
Yeah, I think I'm along with Amy. I feel like they are on the up and up. Not too familiar with Meredith Dillon, but more familiar with Naomi. We spoke to her back when she was running for office.
Hmm.
Um, and I get the sense there's good people running it. We definitely need some kind of organization to help with housing. I just think the whole housing question and conversation is a little just milky or murky, if you will.
Mm.
Just like we're still looking at what's the definition of affordable housing. Like what does that really look like? And how many, like, I'll say Front Porch can only help so many people. What are the real pathways and barriers to home ownership, and why can't people just work and buy a home? Like, why do we need Front Porch investments? You know what I mean? Like, how can we get to where people can just work and buy a home? Like, why is that such a issue?
Well, I mean, I think now we're jumping into economic development, jobs, all the ways to pay for that, which is kind of a different situation. If
Hmm.
if, if that's not fixed, then you need people like Front Porch to come in and try to supplement and help. You know what I mean? Brooke says she missed the benefits for homeowners. Um, but do you mind reiterating a little bit what the program is supposed to entail?
Yeah, so each property selected receives up to $50,000, and the priority will be on Black, Indigenous, and other people of color who live in historically redlined areas. The funds are for home repair, renovation, improvements, and energy efficiency.
Okay, cool. So how are these houses picked?
Through a application process. So up to you have to. There's a window that the last window is actually closed, but there will be other rounds that they'll be doing this in.
Hmm.
The last window closed, I believe, in July 10th. But there are eligibility requirements, which include geographic location, income, and then again race, because there's a prioritization for Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, quote unquote. Um, and then your house has to be located in the census tract. That's pretty much it. You apply if you kind of fit those requirements, then you'll be selected.
Yeah. So there you go. That might be something to look into. Brooke, we'll find out some more information on that and find out where the application process is and all that good stuff.
Hmm.
Because I'm quite sure that the stuff that our family owns is in the district in those redlined areas and might qualify for some help here, but from them. So we'll keep our eye on that. Like I said, Blair Freeman, who is a black woman owned construction company, are the general contractors for this. We're proud to announce that Blair Freeman will be serving as general contractor for the Greenlining Fund through Front Porch. We've met a couple people from Front Porch, and here I'll put this. As a matter of fact, I'll put this link in the chat right now
Hmm.
for you to grab. This is the Front Porch link. Check that out and read a little bit more about that process. Vaughn Chapman is in the chat. Good morning. He's over on YouTube. He says, "Good morning. Does Front Porch have a pathway for the homeless population?" That's a good question. I don't think so. I think they're focused in on homes, and having people keep their homes, and everything else. T. Wren is also in the house on YouTube. Good morning. He said the city has been lollygagging and replacing all the units they've tore down.
Mm.
He said Front Porch was one of the initial ARPA funding recipients.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
hopefully some of that money that they got from the ARPA funds will come back to the neighborhoods in the form of helping people keep their homes and upgrade their homes and do all the things they need to do for home ownership. So I think that's kind of the point there. Reminder: Wanda Lewis is reminding us turn back tax applications due back by September 25th. So if you're applying by the for the turn back tax, definitely check that out.
Okay.
What is it, the 19th now, so or 18th.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up.
Very rapidly.
Appreciate the announcement.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about in this story, as far as this front porch program, how it will impact not just homeowners but renters. Like if I'm somebody who owns a home that I'm renting out, I wonder if they'll qualify for this. Because the house can still get renovated. That the energy on that house, as far as ceiling windows and doorways and things like that, can still impact the energy bills for those tenants. So it can still, even if you don't own a home in North Omaha and you're renting, I'm wondering if that will still impact your living situation.
That's a good question. I don't know. I hope that it'll go to people who are living in their homes that need some assistance more than like people who are renting out a home.
Yeah,
But it's something to look into because if there's a loophole there, somebody gonna try to take advantage of it for sure.
yeah. I'm hearing more and more about these mass corporations, buying properties in the community. So, I don't think situations like that would be able to take advantage.
Yeah, I
Hopefully
like
not.
I like Von Chapman's notion too. I mean, I don't know how many organizations are even out there trying to help the homeless get into homes. We don't really come across too much information on any of that stuff. I'm sure there's somebody out there doing it with as many nonprofits as we have in North and South Omaha, but haven't heard too much about that. Wanda Lewis says, "Did they say anything about it being income based?" Yes.
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah. So there's a few factors. I think income based. You said race was one of them.
Yep.
Whether or not the properties within the red lined district is another. So yeah, a few things like that. So we'll see about this application. I'm sure when application drops or whenever that happens, we'll be taking a look at it, seeing what's going on there and breaking that down because I think that a lot of chat chimers would qualify to at least look into that situation there.
Oh yeah, I definitely think this is something we should all be taking advantage of. Also, while I'm thinking about it, look into Habitat for Humanity.
Hmm.
They're building that whole development off of Sorensen,
Hmm.
like 50th, 49th in Sorensen, not too far from Wakanda, and they have some home ownership programs.
Right. Yeah, there were the two. It was Front Porch and it was Habitat that we've been reporting on for a while that have these programs for people to be able to do something about either buying a home or keeping their home, finding some funds to keep the home, and so on. Also, I was thinking about the contracting company Blair Freeman. They're also over there doing the 24th and Lake Street renovation as
Hmm.
well. They're overseeing that and a few other things. I see their flag up everywhere. As a matter of fact, every time I go down to 24th now, I see people coming in and out of all of the buildings. Like I was over at Idle Vital getting my juice, and looking across the street at some of those empty buildings have been empty, like across the street from Jesse's, all them places. And I'm seeing people in suits walking in and out of them places. Something's getting ready to happen over there.
Okay.
Then they walked across the street and walked into Jesse's place, and something's gonna happen over there. So it looks like there's stuff moving. Can't help but know that it has something to do with these funds coming in to from the what the senators, the work the senators did to bring these
Hmm.
$400 million in the North and South. And we know the areas it's gonna touch, which is 24th Street. Who's controlling things on 24th Street?
Right.
24th Street, 16th Street, 30th Street, they're all going to get touched. So who's been a part of those things, and some of the organizations that do, they're saying now, man, if you weren't able to connect and end up getting funds this way, there's organizations out there that got funds in order to continue to help small business and individual homeowners and stuff like that. Even after the funds get doled out, some of those people apply for funds in order to have some programs out there to help some of these issues here. Here's one of them right here. Front Porch, got money so that they can $1 million that they're going to be giving out to people in order to upgrade and take care of their homes and keep their homes. So
Yeah, and again, they, as far as I know, they got about 25 million from ARPA. So definitely expect more funds to go out, more programs, more applications.
yeah, Gwen Easter gives us a good morning over there on Facebook. Appreciate you. She says, my organization tried to help people who are homeless through our home intervention referral service. Okay, I like to definitely want to hear more about that service for sure.
Yeah.
How successful have you been with that? And if it's still going, what's going on with it? And how can we help enhance it? Because it sounds like there you go. I was just wondering about if there's any organizations out there that are doing anything for the homeless. And we got a chat chimer in a content camp creator
Yeah.
that's got an organization to do it. So there you go. Yeah, like I said, give us more information on that. We definitely like to check into it and see what's going on there. Von Chapman says all transitional housing has been torn down to make way for so-called affordable housing. This appears to create a void for those who are entering into the first-time home ownership.
Mm.
Transitional housing has been torn down to make way for so-called affordable housing. Appears to be it appears to create a void for those who are entering in the first-time home ownership. Interesting. It's creating a void. Okay. Yeah. Of course, we always are talking about what is affordable housing. What does that mean? And what exactly is transitional housing? Well, I'm curious about that. What do you mean by transitional housing being torn down? What are those? Are you talking about housing? Or are you talking about housing complexes, projects? What are you talking about? That's transitional housing. What does that mean?
I think he's referring to like starter houses. He's talking about again the void for those entering into the first time home ownership. Um, yeah, I'm thinking like starter houses, maybe smaller houses. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, let us know what you mean by transitional housing.
yeah. I'd love to know. Love to know for sure. Speaking of which, we do have a special guest waiting in the wings, and we're gonna go ahead and bring him in here in just a second. Bear with us again. Buddy is live from the Culture House, and so we're dealing with a little bit of technical difficulties. And with the internet situation, it is not your computer, so don't worry about restarting. You're good. You're good. It's us, so we apologize for that. In the meantime, between time, ladies and gentlemen, I see Brother McKinney in the chat. Sounds like you're driving. How you doing, Brother McKinney? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm on my way back from taking my daughter to school. How y'all doing?
Oh, good, man. Good. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
How's the
I'm
fam,
good.
bro? Your daughter doing good?
Yeah, she good. Everybody good, man.
That's what's up. She
You?
she excited
How you?
about being back in school, or
It depends on the morning.
sound like us? I hear that. I hear that. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, man.
No problem.
We were just talking about some of the things that's going on with the housing situation here. I know that we talked about next time that when you guys come on, we were going to talk about some other subjects, and the one we're touching right now has to do with the housing situation and this new thing that just happened with the front porch is getting ready to dole out a lot of money in order for homeowners to be able to renovate their homes. It's called the Greenline project. You heard of that one?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Haven't kind of dived deep into it, but I've heard of it before. It's interesting. Uh, I guess it's for me. It's when I think about it, it's like you're gonna give people 50,000 to renovate their homes. What about when their property taxes raise? Who's going to help them with that?
Mm.
True that. Property
Mm.
taxes go up all the time on folks. Waiting in.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I think it's always good to try to help people renovate their homes, especially with all this development going on. I just think they honestly, probably need more than 50,000, especially with all the rising prices and like everything. Pretty much, I mean, 50,000 probably ain't even enough.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it'll definitely help. It'll definitely help. But yeah,
Yeah,
it might. Like I said, I think that my concern was exactly what you were just talking about. Your concern is too when it comes to property taxes because that always gets people in the end, man. When we just went through. I remember reporting that there was a big jump at one point. Uh, and that was kind of scary at one point for people who who had this huge jump in their property taxes and already having struggling to pay it in the first place. So and if they renovate their house and it goes up in value, then that's definitely going to be a thing. Let me go ahead and bring in the other brother. Senator Wayne is in the wings. We're gonna bring him in, and also Buddy's back. We're gonna bring him back in as well. Doing a little shuffling this morning. As you can see, Buddy is live from the Culture House, and yeah, so we're dealing with a little bit of internet difficulties here, but bear with us. Good morning, brother Senator Wayne. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing today?
I'm
All
doing all
right.
right. What's going on with you?
Man, just trying to make it, brother. It's a new week, new opportunities. We gotta stay a little positive.
Man, okay, look. We got the case of the Mondays. You came in with the positivity this morning. That's what's
I
up.
like it. I
Appreciate
like
you.
it.
Bro, how was your weekend? What'd you get
And
into?
it was good. I didn't do anything. Celebrated. I'm not a Buffalo fan, but I'm celebrating Dion. I just feel like right now we at this point, we got to celebrate all black excellence when we can.
Man,
Man, I hear
facts.
that. I hear that. Appreciate you, man. Like we were just talking about this article that talked about the money that's coming through Front Porch to try to help people with properties, upgrade their properties and so on and so forth. The Green Line project. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I think I caught the end of it. My concern is when you start doing a lot of work in areas that goes up, and the property tax
Mm.
goes up. That's a little nervous for me.
Property tax,
That makes
yeah,
me a little nervous.
yeah. Senator McKinney said the same thing. Property taxes going up for sure.
Okay.
Definitely nervous.
Okay. I'm kind of curious. What was because we had talked about also Front Porch receiving ARPA funds. What was that conversation like? And yeah, what was the thought behind that? Not necessarily.
I don't know.
Not
They win the.
necessarily.
Go ahead.
Just want to say not necessarily focusing on the housing portion of that conversation and why move to make.
Well, I don't know. Me personally, we never had any real conversation with the city on what they were doing with their money. I process matters to me a little bit, so I find it a little interesting that they can go behind a closed door and just hand out $30 million, and everybody in the community was just quiet about it. Where we getting criticized for going through a process. So I've always found that interesting. But if you look back, there was no open process on who was going to do the housing. There wasn't even a conversation with the city to do it themselves. You figure, let's say it's $130 million, you got to figure 10% of that is going just to the administration of it. So would it have been? Could we got more bang for our buck if we just sent it directly out to individuals? If that's what we're going to do, and ultimately anyway. But we're here now, and so you just gotta keep it moving. I hope that they, not just target areas that were affected by redlining, but also areas that were deemed in the C category, which is a little bit bigger around North Omaha for redlining purposes. And I hope they just make good investments.
Yeah.
There's some questions that I have around that though. ARPA dollars is because if you get a loan, you might not be able to sell your home for 15 years. So there's some rules and regs around using ARPA dollars to purchase or make significant improvements into property and what those requirements are. Because typically, if you use federal dollars, the Treasury gets an interest in whatever that kind of equipment or property enhancement is.
Oh wow.
So, is that gonna help make people lose their homes, or do people actually understand what these federal requirements are when they go through this process?
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yeah, man. Of course, we weren't thinking of that at all. So yeah, that'll be interesting to understand too. If it's coming through Front Porch, would Front Porch be the ones that would be responsible for? So when they dole it out, then they have to make sure that they got some checks and balances there on people using the funds right, and that has to go through them. Then is that right?
Right. And my only question is, what are my long-term commitments if I'm using these dollars? Like, am I locked in? Can I not do anything? So I'll give you an example. Down there with OEDC by Jackson Cafe, there's some property, and they got that dollars with federal dollars, and so that can only be a mart or a grocery store, I think, for another 5 years. And so I think they had a 15, 20-year requirement on there for the Fed dollar. So it's hard. It's been sitting empty, but primarily because you can't use it for anything else because of those Fed dollars. So just
Wow.
making sure the people who are getting these Fed dollars, understand the commitments and whatever comes with it.
Wow. That's eye opening. It's funny how everybody kind of drives by and got their theories and reasons why that store is closed, and anybody thinking about that one, some of the money that came with it had requirements, and that's one of the things that has to be a grocery store for a period of time. It's really something that I don't think most people know. So I appreciate that information for
Hmm.
real. Amy H. Dot in the chat is asking, is there a way for a TIF type mechanism to be applied to homeowners for this scenario?
See, so let's talk about that. This is great, great segue. I love it. See,
Okay.
people just think
Okay.
people thinking he ain't on here, so I ain't got to worry about him getting embarrassed. People think Senator McKinney just did the LB 351, but people don't understand that he also did the hair bill. He also requires STEMs in schools, so people got to learn science, technology, and engineering before they graduate now. But Senator McKinney also redone. I mean, I passed the original version, but he critiqued it. It's called Micro TIF, and it's starting off in rural Nebraska, primarily because the city of Omaha didn't want to do it. They said if we have to do projects that are under $250,000, it'll be too many applications. But Senator McKinney worked with North Platte and a couple other small communities out there to create the model that we're going to try to bring to North Omaha, or he's going to try to bring to North Omaha, where you can take this TIF mechanism for a smaller value, like under 250,000, and apply it to your residential homes that meet certain criteria that are older, like I think built in 1960s or 70s, and those kind of things. So you can actually make improvements to your home that it'll be a special assessment to your property, but essentially you don't have to pay. Nobody else can come in and take it. Nobody else can finagle because you got a loan on it. It's your loan against yourself. And so he actually created a model that works for small town Nebraska, and they've been using it at least already this year. He just passed it this year. It was part of the 531 package that we had to jam in because we were slowed down this year, but that kind of mechanism around TIF, he's gonna let that play out for a couple years in rural and then bring it to North Omaha, and that's kind of how that works. So as much as we talk about 531 and 1024, Senator McKinney has passed a lot of other bills that we don't give him credit for, nor do anybody really. And so I want to make sure I put that out there. That so TIF is a way that we could do it, and there is a model right now in rural Nebraska that we need to bring to North Omaha.
A mini TIF. That's what's up.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that back up. I do remember hearing about it in the beginning, but we had not talked about it for a while, right? Yeah. What a great. I think that now that's a model right there. I think that's something that could really help. Feels fair. All these conversations that we have about TIF everywhere else, TIF Alley, and every all these other places.
Well, TIF is just complicated of itself. You got to go out and get a bank. You got to go out and get some attorneys, and you're gonna spend 5 to 10 grand on TIF right out the gate. And so that smaller project, 250,000 and below, the money don't make sense when you got to spend 10 to 15 grand on an attorney. So that's why you don't see it. But what this micro TIF does, it literally just allows you to you as a homeowner to, it's a single page, and you write it out and you take it to the bank, and you can get an upfront TIF loan.
Interesting. And that's
From
you said that's already going on now.
Yeah, it's going on in rural Nebraska. It was, and I understood Omaha's reasoning for it because you have a lot. You can have 1 million people apply for it, and they can get bombarded. So they're doing a test run out in rural Nebraska. North Platte is taking a lot of advantage of it, and so I think that's another thing you can look for Senator McKinney in the future.
Okay. And maybe that answered your question there, T Rim. Was there a barrier to start the program here first? Like you said, you probably you got to kind of test out with an area that has lesser people, a less amount of people applying. It could be out of control here. Jumping back into the chat just real quick, Von Chapman is asking, are traditional banks underwriting these efforts, or is the underwriting done by the philanthropists who other community investments stand to benefit? I think also he's like, who underwrites Front Porch and Blair Freeman? So a little bit of a follow the money type of question going on here. We already talked about that they're getting certain ARPA funds, and those ARPA funds that they are the ARPA funds they were getting for the house that you were just talking about. Are those that's not part of 531, is it? That was this.
No, they got those were all city funds. So that 30 million came from the city. And again, I don't know. too many people, if at all, who can start a nonprofit and their first investment be $30 million from the government.
Right.
That's,
Interesting.
that is a good point, which kind of led to it just kind of came out of left field and started running things. But to answer the underwriting question, as far as the green project, hello.
Yeah, you breaking up a little bit, but we can hear you. All
Got,
right.
got that
But it's
Cox
cool.
table.
Yeah, man. Yeah, 24th Street Cox Cable.
Man, my bad, y'all. But again, the Impact Development Fund is underwriting this Greenlining project. They're underwriting, originating, monitoring, and servicing loans, as well as providing monthly reporting on all loan payments. That's the Impact Development Fund.
And, who and where's the we found the money? Where do they get their money from?
I'm not sure. It says the Impact Development Fund is a nonprofit CDFI, a community development financial institution.
Is that the one out of Colorado? Or is that the one here in Omaha?
That's in Omaha. That's in Omaha. This is from a press release from Front Porch in regards to the Greenlining project.
Okay. Interesting. In the chat also, Gwenny's was saying many foreigners receiving the new housing being built, while those who live in live in the community get little to no help and lose their homes. Okay. I see Wanda Lewis is saying facts to that one. Um, I think you're talking about like the refugees that are coming in, and there's they're taking advantage of some of these home projects. Sorry, but he's dealing with the internet issues there. It's not your computer, it is us this time. So we apologize for that. Um, Also, as the time passes, North Oak gets further gentrified. A little gentrification going on, definitely, but I think there's a lot of home ownership, more than people may think, that's going on in North Oak from what I see my experience, and it is people who kind of need a little bit of extra help here and there to keep things going. That property tax thing, I think, is definitely very concerning. After you do an upgrade on your house and your property value goes up, then you're gonna have to deal with those things. Um, so yeah, that's interesting, and I can't wait to learn more about this mini TIF situation here. A couple people in the chat asking how come they couldn't start in North O again. I think that one of the problems with them starting in North O was the sheer number of applications they were going to get, and they needed to figure out whether or not they can even take those in. Looks like Brother McKinney's back. There he is. Hey, good morning, good morning.
What up?
Yeah. So when we first rolled this out 2 years ago, it was or 3 years ago. 3 years ago was my bill. The city of Omaha just didn't want to do it, and it was 100% because of the sheer number. And I'm glad we didn't, because Terrell had to make some significant changes in the legislation last year for micro TIF to make it work better. So we could have, I ain't saying we messed up, we're in Nebraska, but we sure didn't want some of those problems here first. So that was truly the reason.
There you go. We, as you can see, Brother McKinney, we're talking about the mini TIF bill that you put out there. What was your kind of reasoning behind that? What did you see that it was something that you decided to get behind and push?
I think it's a good way to help those smaller projects, because with the current way TIF works, unless you're doing a big project, it's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
And and the issue at North Omaha is we got people with property, but a lot of that property isn't big. It's just like a lot. So how are you going to TIF a lot? But if we have micro TIF in North Omaha one day, you can TIF a lot. So doing it out in Western Nebraska and kind of test running it to see how it works, and then seeing what's good and what's bad, and then bringing it to North Omaha, I thought was a good idea.
Yeah, I'm sure they jumped all the way on that one too.
Yeah.
It probably helped out.
Is this is this something that's only for housing, or can like small businesses develop and kind of renovate using microTIF?
Small businesses, and if you're extremely blighted, you can use it for some replacement. You can use it for your home, which all of North Omaha is extremely blighted.
Right.
Mm. Von Chapman in the chat says that it would be great if homes in the land bank could be used in conjunction with Front Porch and TIF to help enhance home ownership for the victims of prior redlining. I feel like we
Okay.
talked about them.
So the Impact Fund is the one from Colorado. because I was trying to figure out who it was. It's
Okay.
impactdf.org, and if you go
Hmm.
to partners, you'll find the. I'll send the link in the chat, but it'll see Front Porch Investments Omaha Community Foundation, and I wanted to double check and make sure that was them from Colorado. This again is a missed opportunity. We have, and I'm gonna get in trouble for being critical, but it is what it is. We have Omaha 100, which is a CDFI in North Omaha. You have South Omaha CDFI, and if all they're doing is managing funds and they get to take 2 or 3% for managing funds, then we missed the opportunity to build up our local ability to lend and bank in North Omaha by not partnering with these local institutions, but rather partnering with Colorado's Impact Development Fund.
Hmm.
Wow.
So what is a CDFI and an impact development fund? Like what are these?
So a CDFI is a community development financial institution, and so underneath the federal law, CDFIs they could be banks, they could be lending, um, they could be investment funds like this one, but it allows some more flexibility than the restrictions that you have in a bank. So the banks have so many restrictions and so many things that when you go in to get a loan, you got to damn near draw blood and do everything else. Whereas some of these CDFIs can be experimental. They could do community-based lending or credit-based lending, or they can look outside of those boxes and not have to worry about the federal government coming in and the regulators coming in the same way. So there's not a lot of them in Omaha, but I know Omaha 100 is one of them. So again, that's just me thinking, how do we maximize these dollars and make sure these dollars stay in our community and turn a couple more times in our community?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I definitely appreciate the clarification on that. I'm understanding more and more what that's about. And yes, it's very significant that this is out of state companies where those funds are coming from. Very significant. Does translate to some movement though in North Omaha to help some homes, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying. Look, I'm not. Maybe there's reasons why they couldn't do it, but I think as a community, we always got to ask those questions about when federal dollars or any dollars are coming into Omaha. It's particularly North Omaha. How do we maximize staying in the community? The one thing that we found out from the Olson community engagement online forums is that was the number one thing that North Omaha said needs to happen with any dollars, is that they got to stay in the community and triple effect in the community and keep recycling in the community. That was a clear theme from all the feedback we got from the communities, that we want to make sure these dollars are maximized in North Omaha and stay there. And so now that I know that we feel that strong about it, I think every time we do something with money, particularly money that comes from somebody else, we need to figure out how we maximize that dollar staying in our community.
Mm-hmm. Wanda Lewis is asking, so are they both nonprofit and for profit on the back end?
CDFIs are not, they're nonprofits, but they could invest in for-profit funds. So it doesn't appear to be the way this is set up. And again, I'm just looking this morning while we're sitting here talking, but CDFIs nationally, when we talk about major developments in many of our urban areas, CDFIs have been the lending mechanism to do it because they can go after so much federal dollars, matching dollars, and can offer innovative programs. They've typically been able to do it.
Okay. But as you said earlier, there might be some stipulations that come along with that, with those things that need to be paid attention to, with
Correct.
that as well. So, I don't know who I guess we'd be tapping into Front Porch to find out about what some of those things are, to make sure that when those application process comes up and people start applying, they know what they're going to be in for on that. So appreciate that very much. Is there any other bills we wanted you guys to come on this time, so we didn't talk too much about the 531 and all that stuff, but we wanted to know about more of the bills that you guys pushed this last session. Anything else for housing besides the mini TIF that you guys built and pushed?
I don't know. That's a
Um,
good question. I'm trying to think. Man, we've been focused so much on 531.
Yeah.
Uh, no, I mean, so the city of Omaha came out with their plan for affordable housing, That was actually a bill that I required them to do 3 years ago, LB 88, and that's when we
Mm.
set up the middle income housing fund of around 35 million for really Omaha and Lincoln. So now it's about 40 million. So we've been pushing that, and so now the city of Omaha has got their plan together at the state level. We were trying to do something around more housing funds, but to be very honest, the middle income housing fund, we had a lot of nonprofits apply, 8, and they sat on all their money for 2 years.
Mm.
So so it's hard. We had to come back with a new bill. I think 2 years ago, I think I did that, Senator McKinney. I can't remember, where I said you couldn't apply for additional funds unless you first spent the 75% of your current funds that you got from the state, because they were just sitting on money. And so that's starting to move better. But last year it was, the session was slowed down, so we picked what we thought were priorities to get them through.
You gonna name the 8?
Yeah, we in urban affairs we moved out LB 629 and made some changes to the Middle Income Workforce Housing Investment Act, kind of making it sort of a little more flexible. But that was really it. There was some other stuff in there around like home inspector bills. Um, it wasn't too much else, honestly, but I know we made some changes around the Middle Income Workforce Housing Investment Act, home inspectors, something else. It honestly was like way too many bills and too many bills, honestly.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But I'm glad we're finally digging into some of
Yeah.
that stuff. I'm gonna jump into the chat real quick, and then we'll pivot. T. Ren says the spotlight needs to be on how these out of state entities are getting access under the radar. Um, is it under the radar, or is it's just we didn't know that this was going on? Is
No, I
Mhm.
think the spotlight should be on in-state entities saying they're creating funds to address historical neglect of communities like North Omaha, but using out-of-state entities to do that when there are in-state entities that can,
Mm. Well said. I'm
that
putting
look like us.
That
That's
part.
I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt, and that look like us on the back.
Mm-hmm.
is it
Uh,
really intentional?
Good question. Good question. I'd like to find some other examples of that. It sounds like there's something that's pretty prevalent. Take
Well, I got an example. The St.
okay.
Francis Ministry situation.
Mm.
Remember, that was a sister that was outbid.
Man. Um, yeah, and there's something we got something in the headlines today talking about what's going on with that situation.
Yep. There's the Office of Inspector General is released an annual report
Oh yeah.
detailing deficiencies in the care of wards in the state's Nebraska child welfare situation. Um, Senators, what are your thoughts on what's going on with child welfare and Inspector General's office with the state?
Man, that's tough. Go
It's a
ahead.
lot.
You know, that report isn't new. That's been the same report. At least my 7 years down in Lincoln, and the year before I went down there.
Mm,
HHS is a big ship that I can honestly say I don't know where to start to turn.
mm,
But for me, a good friend of mine this weekend posed the question that HHS and prison and everything that we talk about, I think is the question we all should be asking is when do Black people's issues raise to the top?
It's a great question.
great.
Because most of the kids we talking about in this system with HHS are Black and brown kids,
Right.
and it's been that way for 8 years. And every time we try to do something, the narrative gets hijacked to something else, and it'd be many of our own allies who jump to something else. And so
Mm,
when do our issues ever just rise to the top and can be at the top? It can be a focus just for a little bit. Like let's just give us a little bit of time, but it's never been that way. And we saw that this year in prison. We saw that this year with North Omaha. 4 years ago or 3 years ago when they voted to remove slavery from being taught in in schools. I mean, our issues can never rise to the top.
To that point, I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna go left a little bit on this, but to that point, I was talking to some folks. One of the things that I'll go ahead and mention about the hijack situation you were talking about was happening our first time of really kind of covering the legislature, which is the just passed, and of course we had national news and everything on, trans rights, LGBTQ rights, so on and so forth. There was the big filibuster. We all know about all these things that happened. That felt a little bit like a hijack from other issues, and I've talked to several people now in North Omaha that felt like they wanted to switch and start voting Republican because they felt like that was that this was the last straw for them for them not, feeling like Democrats were not paying attention to what it is that they needed, and black Omaha was getting left behind, and so on and so forth. I'm talking about black folks talking about voting Republican because of these things, and I'm hearing that more and more. If you would have told me that 2 years ago, I'd have been like, "What?" And now I'm like, "No, it's pretty common." I'm hearing this all over the place. Just for that very reason. How many times are we going to get hijacked before we can get to our issues? So I'm just making that statement, putting out there because I think that there's a lot of people listening, a lot of the ghost listeners that need to know what we feeling about this, and that's some real true feelings on that. As far as I'm concerned, I watched the whole situation, and even though I didn't like what people were trying to do to them, I totally understand the filibuster, understand the laws and everything that was going on. It did feel like a big hijack for the issues. Now, to the point now where here we are, meeting with you guys once a week to talk about everything else that was supposed to be talked about. And if you guys are wondering why we're here, that's why we're here. We're here to do that because we need to dig into some other issues that we didn't really get a chance to hear too much about on the legislative floor. No, even though you guys had made big strides and big efforts to be heard there, it's just is what it is. So don't know where to go from there from this statement, but I am going to look at the chat real quick and jump in because there was a question that Amy H. Dot had earlier. I wanted to make sure that she got some time there. She said, "Is there a way to remove parking minimum requirements in development outside of just downtown Omaha through legislation?" Let's tackle that question.
I brought a bill. I'm laughing because I brought a bill on. And I'm going to respond to what you said after we get done. After I say this, but I brought a bill a couple of years ago to do this that saying that if you did some low income housing or middle income housing, I hate the term low, that you can get some of the set asides removed. So you can get less. You can get reduced this. You can get some of the building codes requirement. You can actually get some of that removed. So I can encourage people through regulation to develop in poverty areas by saying it's actually going to cost you less because you don't have to have as many parking. And boy, every city, town across the state came out and was against it. And the reason they were, in particular, city of Omaha, because everybody believes in local control until local control doesn't work. So we want the city of Omaha to make those determinations, not the state. Right. So that was the big pushback. But there are things even within the building codes you can do, like down on 24th Street. That should probably all be a neighborhood business district where you can count the streets as part of your parking. So there's things that you can do, but it costs money to have somebody go down and rezone all that, unfortunately. But to your point about what you just kind of went off on, it hit me because I think the most unnoticed thing said was last Wednesday when you had Beeee on here from the OPS school board. And she said that her board still says that they're fully funded, that they don't need any more money, that they're lowering their levy. And the reason why I say that's important is because you can't talk to people in North Omaha who feel like their schools are currently invested in. And when I say I don't have any more options, and so I vote for LB 753 because at this point, I don't know what to do when I'm fighting against the school board who don't want to invest in North Omaha. And so my hands are up saying, look, I'm willing to try anything at this point. We're getting crucified for that vote, but nobody is holding this board accountable on. They're fully funded. They're lowering their levy. And yet we can't get 5 elementary special education teachers paid for in North Omaha.
Mm. Man,
When do our issues rise to the top?
I hope that y'all saw that interview
Don't
from
just
B.
smile, Terrell. No, don't let me take all this fire.
No, I'm not. I 1,000% agree. And it's you could go issue to issue, and it's frustrating because honestly, this money to me, I mean, it. Everybody keep talking about 531 and 1024 and the investment or whatever. I think it's great. It's needed. It should have happened, but there is a lot of systematic issues that we still need to address, and we can't address those if we continue to just brush them to the side and say we'll think about them tomorrow. We're literally, we literally got people saying this one thing is taken away from our public schools. Let's petition this and fight this. But we're literally building a prison. By the time it's built, it's going to cost probably $500 million. And that is public money. That is state funds. That's taken away from tax dollars and things like that. Nobody's fighting against the prison.
Mm.
But most of the people in the prison look like me. They literally, majority of the people that are being at prison come from this community when you look at the data. When you even with the child welfare stuff, most of the kids in child welfare that are being lost are black kids from North Omaha.
Right.
And that's the frustrating thing. So, when do black issues rise to the top? Like they ran all these elections all the time and say, oh, we're going to change this, we're going to change that. George Floyd died. We're going to make big changes in the criminal justice system and policing. Still ain't nothing passed. Nothing of significance is passed around policing in America, to be honest. Nothing significant has changed. Like it's just frustrating. But then, you know, we just supposed to be happy with the crumbs. I mean, this money that we got, yes, we're grateful because yes, we're trying to change our community, but it's long overdue, and we probably need $5 billion. And then we're talking about people creating funds for their friends, but then they're using outside entities to reinvest in black communities when they could use black entities in black communities to do that reinvestment.
Mm.
They really care. Like it's the math don't math for me, and I'm fed up with it. And then we were at an economic summit a couple weeks ago, and this dude from Wisconsin was like, if you really want to understand if foundations really care about your state or where they come from, it's a way you can figure out how the dollars that they have are being invested and who they're using to invest those dollars. Most of the foundations don't even use investment entities in the state of Nebraska, let alone it's funny where they invest their dollars. Like,
Mm.
you know how OPS got messed up? Wasn't they investing dollars in trees in China or something?
What?
So
What?
Hey man, I was on the board then, man.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
We raised the red flag, brother.
What the heck, man?
Yeah,
but
so
then
OPS
people
was
keep saying we need more money for public education, and we got a whole board that's saying we're fully funded when the district that I represent has the lowest educational outcomes in the state and have been for forever, but they saying they don't need no more money. It doesn't make sense. If y'all don't need more money, that means y'all need better management skills, better administration skills. Something needs to be changed. If money's not the issue,
I hope
somebody
that
needs to be fired.
I hope that you guys, I hope that everybody who listens to this show and can go back and see the interview with Bree Full and hear what she had to say. Listen to it again because I kind of feel like y'all didn't really listen to her. She's on the school board saying what she's saying, and and we got two senators on here reiterating what she's saying about the first of all the fact that the school board is saying that they don't need any more money. What's all these issues coming from? That's what she said. She's on the board. She's representing the board, OPS board, on this show, saying that. So, and here we are talking to the senators that's backing that up. They're trying to get them money, and they're saying that they don't need no more money. What Senator McKinney is saying right now is the absolute truth. They need somebody to go in there and figure out how reiterate how they're supposed to spend this money. They got to figure this out because and they got to do it within the intent to solve some of the problems in the black community first. I like what Mama Guy said in here. She said the real question is not actually when, but what has to happen to ensure our issues rise to the top.
Yeah.
What has to happen? That is the question.
Mm.
I think
Um,
we need to hold the line and be unapologetic about it, and whether we piss people off or lose friends or whatever, lose jobs. That's what it comes down to. Are you willing to get uncomfortable? A lot of our ancestors were willing to get uncomfortable. They boycotted, they marched, they got shot at, they got beat.
thrown in jail, everything.
Yeah, like if change only happens when you're willing to get uncomfortable, and that doesn't mean just in a political realm. Like if you're trying to lose weight, if you ain't trying to get uncomfortable, you ain't gonna lose no weight. If you're trying to graduate high school, you got to get uncomfortable and study. College, you got to get uncomfortable and study. You can't go kick it with your friends. It's only gonna happen if people are willing to get uncomfortable.
There you go. You got a there's a link in here from AP News. What you got going on here?
Oh, that's the one where it talks about the mismanagement of back in 2019 of about created a $750 million shortfall on OPS's retirement system
Mm.
because they were invested in trees in Asia and some other things, man.
There you jump into the chat real quick, man. I appreciate the chat going in. When I brought up that situation about me talking to a lot of black folks that decided they might want to vote Republican, I didn't really mean to set off the chat in this way. Um, so, yeah, this is not the point. Y'all missing the point. Let's not start arguing Democrat Republican on here. That's not the point. That's not the
Mm.
point at all. Because neither party are addressing black issues first.
That part.
Let's stay on point.
Like
If
here goes to your point. To your point, people forget that we had a Democrat city council, a Democrat county board, and a Democrat mayor, and nothing in North Omaha changed. Like,
we can see that it doesn't move the needle much, and the point is how do we move that needle, and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if there's black folks in North Omaha that decide they're going to vote Republican. Doesn't really matter. And if we can't get past that kind of argument, then I don't know, because neither party is doing anything for the black community in the way that it needs to be done. That's just the bottom line. That's why all the kids is coming up independent. That's why, you know what I'm saying? Like these parties ain't the thing to be talking about. We got to talk about some other stuff.
I mean, people forget it was Democrats who passed 3 strikes. It was Democrats.
Some people didn't forget. I got friends and family members in jail over 3 strikes in California. So I remember when Kamala Harris was in there
Bill
pushing
Clinton,
that and Biden and them. Right. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
And I get it, right? Parties are a collection of ideas, and I understand that. All I'm saying is, at what point do black people's ideas and issues finally raise to the top?
Right.
Because what happens is we get sidetracked with, oh, well, what about, let's peel off the black women, let's peel off the black gay and LGBT community, let's peel off the black male, and then we get all separated into these categories when collectively we still got to deal with a black issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like what T-Ren is saying here too. He said earlier, said nobody. There's only so much the public can do outside of voting. Representation or front line here starts with representatives pressuring their fellow lawmakers. And us in the vote. And the vote will be coming up. And that's
but also, I mean, yeah, but it's having the right representation in the room. Like just having I representation matters. I agree 1,000%.
Yeah.
But if I go in the room and I don't say nothing, does it matter?
We've seen that happen many a time from other folks. So again, we appreciate you guys speaking up the way that you guys do on the real. I definitely like this idea. We're gonna have to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You kind of hit me where it hurt when you said if you want to go to the gym, you got to go ahead and be uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't want to be uncomfortable. I ain't trying to go to the gym. But so that hit me close. Like, okay, yeah, I get it now. We got to be for real uncomfortable in order to get something done. Kimber Snipes in the chat gives you good morning earlier, says great question, Senator Wayne, and yep, there's a lot of that peeling off and then groups and up at odds. Yeah, Malik Rogers says collectively it's ideal, but do each subgroup have true and qualified black leadership? We just, like you said, representation matters. And we need more. We need more, and everybody. And then it's a given that we need everybody to speak up when they're in there. But we definitely need more. It seems like to me. It seems like sometimes you two are the only two fighting the fight for anything when it comes to that. So, um, Buddy coming in and out. Again, sorry about the difficulties here with the tech. Buddy's live here in Omaha on 24th Street at Culture House, dealing with some internet issues. So he's coming on through when he can, and I appreciate you keeping on trying, buddy. I know you're frustrated over there, but I appreciate you keeping on trying to come back in. Do we want to shift gears real quick? It is 8:30 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, I wanted to get to a couple other subjects. That's why I was asking about some other bills that you guys were pushing.
I got a question for the chat though, and but we could move forward. Next year is an election year. What do y'all want from y'all representatives? This is a real question. Like what is the top three things that y'all want from y'all representatives, and it don't matter the level of government. What do y'all want and expect?
It's a good question. Top three things. Let's keep asking that until we get answers from folks. What's the top three things you want from your elected officials? And if next year is a voting year, it might be time to start looking at who's going to be the ones running.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody who we need to be watching, looking at, helping encourage to go run? All those things is the kind of the question now. So, Paul Philman in the chat, good morning, says, can legislation help get major investments in infrastructure for trade, training, education, mental health, substance abuse for people working to discharge from prison, some financial resources? It's a good pivot into the prison conversation here.
I mean, yes, but people don't care about people coming home from prison.
Mm.
That's the truth. Like people, we could introduce those bills, and maybe I'm being super harsh, but the reality is when those type of bills are introduced, or money for those type of bills are introduced, people don't show up. We need people to show up when we introduce stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The, the issue is it's not that bills don't get introduced in the Nebraska state legislature. I think last year we had 800 bills.
Yep.
The bills are being thrown out there, but we need a collective movement to get a lot of this stuff passed. And then we also got to realize we're in Nebraska. Like at the end of the day, we're in Nebraska, and we got to figure out a way to tap into the minds of the people who are on the other side
Mm.
and figure out how to get them on our side. And that's just the truth. But those type of bills have been introduced, and I think right now, I think it's a good time to try to get something done around the trades inside of our institutions and skilling people up, because this prison going to take about 4 to 5 years to get built, which means the prison's about to be more overcrowded. That prison's going to be overcrowded anyway, so we got to try to change something. So hopefully, if we can invest in trades and giving people skills, so when they get out, they don't got to go back to the streets and they have something to show for it. Like I just don't understand how can a state incarcerate somebody, hold them for whatever amount of time, and a person just gets out with $100 check. It'll never make sense to me. But then they'll look at a North Omaha business and say, you only made $100,000 last year. Why do you need $1 million?
Mm.
To me, the state is a bad investor,
Mm.
but they don't want to have that conversation.
And that's it right there. When we talk about getting uncomfortable, it's about having conversations to the next level.
Yeah.
So instead of jumping on Terrell and Justin blah 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 with LB 753, ask the question of why. Oh, we need more dollars in Omaha public schools. Okay, then how do we do that when a board says they don't need more money? What am I going to tell my parents? What should Justin tell his parents who have no options for their kids except for OPS, who want to make an investment to make sure they have special education teachers? Like, let's start getting down to the nitty gritty and then say, okay, well, you going to send your kid there? Then the conversation changes. And I think the same thing about prisons got to happen. I think the same thing about this uncomfortable conversation where you say 60% of the people incarcerated come back home within 5 years. So they're coming back home within 5 years. That means they're coming back to this community. What do you want them to have? Do you want them to have skill sets so maybe they make a different decision? Or do you want them to call the same people that probably led to get them there saying, hey, can you come pick me up? I ain't got nowhere to go. Like what? But to have these conversations is very difficult because people don't want to have that conversation.
Yeah, man. I got a question from what something that Brother McKinney, Senator McKinney was saying earlier about having to sway Nebraska, the rest of Nebraska. Senator Wayne, I feel like you have you've I want to hear your thoughts on some of those tactics because I feel like that's something that you've been into for some years now, really trying to figure out how to bridge the gap. And while you think about that real quick, I just want to mention in the chat, Vaughn Chapman said, great question. Priority by elected officials on local community issues such as jobs, poverty, living conditions, mold, and bed bugs in the towers. Lots to talk about there. We will put in Friends of First Sky Omaha a little survey, Mama God, to answer your question. We'll put in Friends of First Sky a little thing where you can put in your top 3 things you want from elected officials so we can start gathering information. I'll do that a little later on today, so look for that. What say you, Senator Wayne?
The first thing I do is I refrain from judgment. I got some conservative colleagues who I definitely wouldn't go out and have a drink with, and if they say the wrong thing, I want to knock them out. But you gotta step one is reserve. Just step back from judgment. No judgment, and then ask the question of why, or how did they get there? How did they come up with that idea? Because what that does is that helps you meet them where they are. That's what we don't do. And if you look at the disconnect between our youth and our older generation doesn't want to meet these youth where they are. And that's the disconnect. And that's how I approach it with my conservative colleagues. And then what you start finding out is some of these rural issues, man, they damn near like North Omaha issues. They looking for small businesses. They looking for jobs. They got a huge meth problem. We got a violence problem. It all stems from this thing called poverty. And then you start talking about how can we do that? Now, you can't lead with my community was never invested in redlining in the government. Like that's just an automatic shutoff. But you start asking them how they got there. How did Sydney fall into this area of poverty? That's because Cabela's picked up and left. And when Cabela's got picked up and left, they lost 10,000 jobs overnight. Man, you know what? I can relate to the beef packing plant in South Omaha. I can relate that to when Union Pacific moved their train yard out of downtown, the Asarco plant. I ain't talking about race, but we know some of those are race decisions. And then we start having a conversation about economics. And the next thing you know, they're like, Justin, what do y'all need for North Omaha? I need this. Why do you need a program like that? Well, because it works for y'all. Y'all got a rural beginner farming tax credit. Man, I need some kind of small business tax credit for North Omaha. Then you connect the dots. But too many times I feel like we jump out with racism, we jump out with this, we jump out with some negativity when man, they grew up in a world that's all they know. And you got to educate them on where you from. Right? That's some uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, which people try to dodge, like Cameron's saying. T. Ren is in chat saying can't straddle the fence on racism, pretending like the problems we face isn't driven by a mostly conservative, mostly white set is major gaslighting. I think that we're coming to a situation here where there's going to be a agree to disagree type of situation.
No. Let me respond to that by saying this. I never forget about race. Let me tell you, race is what I grew up in. I wasn't black enough for North Omaha until they figured out I could play athletics because I wasn't in a musician type thing. So I wasn't black enough for them, but I damn sure was too black for white America. I mean, every time police pulled me over, trust me, it was a different conversation than the white kids that was from Northwest in my car. So racism is something I've dealt with every day. I don't run from it, but I do got to figure out how to navigate to bring something home for our community. And if that means I got to step back and just say, okay, he wants to talk about economics and not necessarily race. My question is, do I bring 200 million or do I argue with this guy over what racism did what?
Right.
And he ain't gonna believe that racism was a factor anyway. So why am I wasting my time with that part?
Yeah, yeah. There's no point in shouting at somebody who ain't gonna ever believe it. I look at both sides. The reason why I said agree disagree is because I think that there's a place for it all. We're all about figuring out the collaboration side. I think there is a side for people to get real loud about the racism and real confrontational. If you don't want to, if you don't want to, if you don't think that if you think that's the way to go, then maybe not be a legislator. Maybe not take a job where you need to talk to some other folks and try to connect, because we need that too. We need the people that are out here trying to connect, and we need all of it. And as a matter of fact, it probably gives you brothers some fuel when you do have organizations out here that are individuals out here that are hollering and are getting loud about it and getting in people's face about it. It might even give you some ammo when you're in there trying to negotiate and talk and so on and so forth. I remember reading about Malcolm and Martin on the same kind of level, where Martin would go in and talk to folks and be like, "Listen, you want some more Malcolms, or you want to talk to me?" You know. So, I mean, I think that that's what's coming to my mind about this. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I'm just thinking out loud about what it is that I'm feeling happens there. Buddy, what say you on that?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate what Senator Wayne is saying. Like, you need to find some way to come to the table, and um, pointing the finger and playing the "you did this" game um, isn't constructive. Isn't going to get anything done. That's the easy way, as Senator Wayne said, to make somebody get defensive, and
But
without
that's
getting.
what
Go
but
ahead.
that's what anybody in any conversation, if you walk
Exactly.
if you having a debate and you jump to and you trying to find a solution, and I keep pointing at you, we not gonna find a solution. I need to figure out why first. If I figure out your why, then maybe we could find a solution. It's not just about a race conversation. It's about any conversation, any type of debate. If you just keep pointing fingers and not trying to listen and learn, you're never gonna you're never gonna change that person, because they're gonna just be defensive.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
just
wise.
based in race.
Yeah,
It's just people.
that's wise, man. I definitely see the value in that. I was a hollerer at 20 and kind of started thinking a little bit differently at 30. By 40, I was like, maybe I need to figure out how to, it's all about trying to get through to people. So you can either yell at them or you can try to get through, one or the other. So yeah, I appreciate that very much. It's 8:42 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, can we give another little this next like 3 minutes to some updates on prison reform, what you guys are doing there? Let's remind people about remember that we need to be behind this. What's your words on that? I'll start with you, Senator.
Last, what was it, Friday? I met with now Attorney General Hilders. So in LB 50, there was a sentencing task force put together, and I got appointed to it. And I had a conversation with him about kind of what's going to happen with that task force. Because honestly, I told him, I was like, look, I ain't trying to be a part of it. If y'all about to waste my time, I don't have the energy to have my time wasted. Are we going to try to actually do something around sentencing, or are we just going to waste our time? Because I honestly rather do a whole bunch of other stuff and just introduce the bills I want to introduce. Just talked about the strategy behind the task force, what kind of we plan to do around that. And my biggest things to him was, a lot of times when we talk about these bills, we only get the perspective of the Department of Corrections and the police and county attorneys. I was like, one of the biggest things I hope we can do on this task force is talk to all sides. And I mean, the people in the community, people that are affected, the victims' representatives, you would say, and also we need to go into prisons and talk to them too. We can't just leave them out. And
Very true.
he sounded like he was on board with it. So hopefully we'll see how that comes about. Because I think and we're also going to look at data as well. Because one of the problems last time, I guess, he said from his side was that they didn't trust the CJI data, which is crazy because the data came from the Department of Corrections. I just think it was just CJI. So, however, they're going to just get the data again from the Department of Corrections. Um, Hopefully, it's viewed from an unbiased lens this time. But I think the biggest thing, man, is talking to people in the community, talking to the individuals inside of our prisons, talking to people who are affected by our criminal justice system, most importantly. Because, man, honestly, I be seeing people every day laughing about people going to jail. And until that is not a thing, I don't know if we ever gonna change our criminal justice system.
Mhm.
We laugh about people getting indicted, all type of stuff. And whether you like that person or not, whether they committed a crime or not, you're dehumanizing them. And because we do that, it makes it that much harder for us to make changes in legislation. And if y'all don't want to believe me, but I think it's true. I think
And
we dehumanize people that go to jail, no matter what side or what they did. It makes it hard to change laws.
you even talking about how we might make fun of Trump getting indicted and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
whether he did it or not, if he did it, he should be held accountable. Like, I ain't saying if you committed a crime, you shouldn't be held accountable. You should, but I'm saying it's the way we're so desensitized and dehumanize people. It's a difference.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like you rape somebody, yeah, throw them away.
right.
But
But just you talking about just the attitude of the lightness of the attitude and stuff behind how we just think about jail in
yeah,
general. And
Hmm.
yeah,
I mean, where's the room for rehabilitation or reconciliation or recovery or
when
like?
you can plaster me all on the news and on social media as this horrible person, and
Hmm.
I might have just had a DUI, but y'all didn't laugh about me for a week.
yeah,
Right.
I
Well,
don't know. I don't see that ever changing, bro. I don't know.
well, I think for us, for judiciary, we're gonna start having some interim hearings in end of September, October. The big one is going to be the one I'm doing out in Ogallala this year, and it's going to be on maybe eliminating the county prosecution system. So most states, you have district attorneys and they're regional,
Mm.
and they all report to the state, in this case, the attorney general. And maybe we need to rethink of how we're doing that, because I don't know if elections in our judicial system are the best way to do things. Because if you got people who are running tougher on crime, and then our plea bargains and things like that being done for political reasons, not necessarily for what's in the best interest. So we're
Mm.
gonna have a big conversation around that. It won't be something that I'll be able to get done in my last year, but I think we need to have that conversation. And the reason I'm doing it in Western Nebraska is because they can't find enough prosecutors. And so you got some counties out there with 300 people that have a prosecutor that's elected. And I just don't know if that's the best way to run our system or not. So I want to have some conversations out there in Western Nebraska to see if they need to share resources, and then what that looks like for Douglas County and other places too.
Man, that's a big change. That's
That's
a
a
major.
huge
Yeah.
change.
Is that can be done state level?
Yeah. It could be done on state level, and so just I don't know, just looking at that and see how it works. And what'll be interesting is both sides won't like it, both Democrats or Republicans, because they like elections, right? That's by the nature of them existing, that's what they exist for. And my thing is I don't know about that, you know. Do you have somebody sitting there wondering about how this will affect their election? Not necessarily is this the right punishment and judgment and rehabilitation for this crime.
Mm.
Man, that's huge. That's some think tank stuff right there. You talking about you talking about shaping.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. That's super huge. No, I don't think you're gonna get that done in your term remaining. But yeah, I like that. I mean, you just kind of opened my mind up to the just the depth of the thought process on this, man. How far out can we go on thinking deeply about it to get them to have some real actual change come about, and then having the boldness to go forth and have that conversation. That's big, man. That's that. I'm not gonna let that pass without figuring saying how big that is. That's huge. I appreciate y'all's time, man. We're gonna go ahead and get going. There's a lot going on in the chat. You can always go back and check out the chat, and also re-listen to these, man. I go back and listen to these all the time because there's definitely stuff that I need to. I might have not caught in the moment, and go back and deep dive on some of this stuff. So I appreciate it. I'm gonna leave one last comment with Sean McCarthy saying, I hate pointing out problems with offering solutions, but tough on crime is so much easier to run on instead of smart on crime, since it doesn't fit on a bumper sticker as well. Yeah, I hear that. Like I said, man, the thought process to go as deep as what you just mentioned in order to try to curb some of this stuff is incredible. And I hope that we can keep thinking that deeply and that broadly on the subject in order to really try to figure out how to actually have some change happening. If people listen to the what's going on here with us, I feel like a lot of solutions are there, and it's just a matter of people's will. Von Chapman asked a little earlier is how many times has all black leadership in Omaha County and state levels meet to strengthen and strategize efforts for change? First of all, who are the black leaders? Second of all, are black leaders meeting? Is there some strategy? Is there some effort for change? I'm gonna leave those as hypotheticals because those are some big questions. But yeah, I like the thought. I like the thought to maybe we need to move into doing some more of that, even if it is going on. We need more,
Hmm.
and hopefully we can get to some deep change on on those subjects. So appreciate you brothers for coming in. You got any final words for us?
Man, it's a great way to start the week. The sun's out. It's a nice day, man. Let's have a little positive moments here. If you get a little frustrated, just step back and remember to smile a little bit and just keep it moving. At the end of the day, every major system in Omaha is against us,
Mm.
but we can't let that destroy us. At the end of the day, so I always wake up every day and say it's a new day, and I think today I hope other people do the same. It's a new week.
There
Appreciate
you
the
go.
positivity, bro. How about you, brother McKinney? At the end of the day, for my day today, it's gonna be about Chappelle show, but we'll come back to that.
Hey,
Come back to
No,
that.
I'll say everybody just have a great day, a great week. Try to make the best of it and try to do something positive. That's the biggest thing. Don't let social media get you down. Don't let people get you down. Stay the course and stay on your mission.
Yeah, I appreciate, it, man. I'm actually personally highly encouraged when I hear about you guys being able to be in those rooms and have the intelligence that you have to be able to know how to approach people, talk to people, try to make something happen. It feels more encouraging. Like that's this is the smart way to be able to have a conversation with folks that might help change their minds and might help get wrapped around some things.
Right. And
There's
and it's not to get the perception that we give these people a pass.
right.
Somebody could call Pete Ricketts and ask him if I ever gave him a pass in the room. They don't get passes. It's just how you approach the conversation,
hmm,
the
Yeah,
questions you ask. It's
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Kind of like you probably can talk about how this how
It just made me think of Terrell just looking at the governor saying, "Make it make sense, man. It just don't make sense."
that's what's up, man. Keep calling them out. Keep calling them out, bro. Appreciate it. All right, fellas, you guys
All
have
right,
a good day.
y'all.
I appreciate the positivity, man. You kind of lifted my spirits up for sure and
Man,
gained some strength and some hope behind what it is we're trying to do here. So I appreciate y'all.
Chappelle gonna be funny tonight, y'all. Be safe.
Man,
yeah.
Hell Show. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.
Let's take a quick break. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Chad Sherman's Ghost listeners. Shout out to the senators for coming through. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, senators, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here, and thanks for all the comments. We'll definitely we'll go back and take a look at some of these, all of these comments, man. We appreciate everybody that's jumped into the chat, and I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get to everybody, but that's a good thing sometimes because it seems like that means the conversation is rolling and flowing, and you guys are talking to each other, and that's what it's all about for us to have these conversations and to have little sidebars here and there on some different subjects and things as well. So I do appreciate it, even though we weren't getting. I didn't want to mean to get into certain subsets of that. We appreciate that you guys had wanted to talk about it amongst each other and really kind of get some understanding, which is the whole goal of this whole project here. Anyway, so
Yeah.
appreciate you very much. 8:55. You believe in the concept of time. We don't have a whole lot of haps to end this on. But if you want to do a little bit of a lightning round on, I think we have like two more subjects we wanted to try to get to. Maybe you can do a little bit of lightning round if your internet holds there.
Yeah, didn't really dive into it extensively, but again, a lot of things are happening with the Nebraska child welfare situation. The state's office of Inspector General is opening an investigation, or just released a report that, again, Senator Wayne says isn't new. These have been ongoing issues, but just this year in 2022, 2023. There have been 9 investigations involving the deaths, serious injuries, or alleged sexual abuse of children in Nebraska foster care. So we definitely have to continue talking about keeping our eyes open and holding accountable those who are leading our state's foster care situation. So,
Hold on one second. Just want to let people know that's us with the internet issues. That's causing his audio issues there. So
mm,
that is not your computer. Just want to let you know that. Don't worry about restarting it. That's definitely us on this side. We're dealing with internet issues this show. So just want to let you know that that's what's happening.
yeah. In other news, Nebraska saw one of the nation's steepest drops in relative household income, although Omaha itself held its own at that key economic measure. Those were among the most notable findings from the 2022 survey data for Nebraska households, which was released by the Census Bureau just past Thursday. The median income in Nebraska is about 70,000 for 2022, which was down about 4% from 72,000 the previous year. So again, people making less money in Nebraska, although again they keep touting these high or low unemployment numbers, people still making less money.
And we keep on stressing the fact that it's the poverty level, it's the less money, it's the less economic development that leads to other things, leads to crime, leads to all kinds of problems. Because when you're not secure in in your housing and your food and everything else, then what are you gonna do? People get desperate, and it's tough. It's a tough situation. So we definitely have to look at that. With there's a job surge going on right now. Things are back after the pandemic in a big way. Companies are making some of the highest profits that they that they ever made at this point, and still we're making less money. Everybody's making less money. That doesn't add up. So definitely something to look at there. So yeah, appreciate that. We can deep dive into some of those things at another time, but we really appreciate everybody that joined in with us. I do want to get into a couple of haps here, just because we were talking about it. First and foremost, we need to say that we're still on the lookout for Brother Blake. Levi Blake has been missing since August 17th. There's efforts that are going on right now. Still the family's out looking. So
Hmm.
please, if you see Brother Blake, please give these numbers a call: 470-216-57393 or 531-203-3810. Please give those numbers a call. Of course, we'll have that on Friends of First Sky Omaha. I'm gonna go ahead and pin that to the top,
Yeah.
Friends of First Sky Omaha, so that you guys can have those numbers pretty handy in order to be able to make a call if you've seen the brother. So yes, still he goes by Levi Blake, Mr. Blake. He goes by Pone or Capone. If you call out his name, he turns around. That's him. Please give these numbers a call: 470-216-5793 or 531-203-3810. Thank you very much for that. Also, I want to give a shout out to the Gang Education Prevention Program is being put on by the Black Agenda Alliance and Untamed. Of course, you know that's Brother Kasim that's been on the show here before, and also Brother Sherman Wells that's been on the show here before. Chad Chimers, Ghost Listeners and Partners is what we think of them as. Gang education prevention topics covered. They're going to be talking about gang life versus what children think, what gangs actually are, gang affiliation, how it can lead to trouble, residual effects. Lots to be talked about, but the most important thing about them talking about what they're going to talk about here is the fact that they're going to be touching the actual kids, talking to the kids that are touched by by these topics more than anybody else is touched by these topics. This is boots to the roots, like we talk about in season 6, boots to the roots. It really is a situation where we need people on the ground that can talk to the kids that are getting in and getting themselves in trouble and could get themselves in more trouble if we don't try to do something about it. So this is a prime example of boost to the roots right here. Black Agenda Alliance and Untamed Gang Education Prevention is happening Saturday the 30th. Mark your calendars, 2:30 to 5. That's at 5001 North 42nd Street in Omaha. Free food and free admission. And bring bring the family, bring the kids, so they can hear what's going on here as well. So shout out to them for putting that on, and we were proud to be sponsors of this particular situation as well. Most definitely, really appreciate everybody who is going to attend, planning on attending that. Also, I keep forgetting to give my friend Jade a shout out here. AfroCon coming on October 7th. Mark your calendars for that, for real. AfroCon is been building up. I think they're in their third or fourth year now, and really good time, man. Really, really positive thing. Last year they had the Illuminarium was in the house, so you got to see some of the things that was happening when Illuminarium was coming. We had virtual reality glasses that the kids can jump into. There's so many things that activities for families, and of course this is a AfroCon, which means it's a conference for you to be that nerd that you want to be. Come on in, dress like Star Trek or whatever you want to do. They have costume contests and all kinds of things happening. Again, having at Metropolitan Community College at the Fort campus. We've had it there before. 9 a.m. to 7 a.m. Of course, there's food, entertainment, all kinds of stuff happening. So October 7th, mark your calendars and get your costumes ready. We'll see you there. We'll talk more about this when we have Jade on very soon as well. It's a little bit past 9 o'clock. We apologize for that, but definitely want to give a shout out to everybody who is putting these haps inside of the Friends of First Sky Omaha as well. Don't forget about this public meeting that the planning department is having. It's very interesting to hear about whatever it is they got going on as far as this master plan that we talk about all the time in our hoods. Learn about and provide input on the city's 24 to 28 consolidated plan, the 2024 action plan, and neighborhood revitalization strategy areas. All kinds of stuff we're going to talk about here. This is going to be at the venue at the Highlander, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And this is September 27th. So coming up here pretty soon next week. Definitely plan on being there. I'm going to try to make it myself because this meeting is, everything starts with the planning department in a real way when it comes to our neighborhood. So definitely check that out if you can. Also, I see this is something that somebody put in Friends of First Sky Omaha as well. I believe it was Kimra Snipes Adult Black Studies Boot Camp 2.0, beginning September 23rd. It's going to be Saturdays from 12 to 2, so they're going right after our content creators camp right here. You might want to check this out. Kara Warner is teaching these classes, so she's part of the Black Agenda Alliance as well. This is Manifested Purpose. LLC at yahoo.com in order to get some more information. That's Manifested Purpose LLC at yahoo.com to get some more information on this. Very interesting. I'd love to do a 6-week online Black Studies course that analyzes the Black experience with 5 major areas: psychology, sociology, politics, culture, and religion. These 5 major areas will be discussed to provoke thought, understanding, knowledge, and power, to include weekly guest speakers to present on each area for 30 minutes. So this sounds like a really interesting thing to jump into here. Definitely check it out. And like I said, of course, Kara Warner is the one that's putting this on, and she is from Black Agenda Alliance as well. Manifested Purpose LLC at yahoo.com for information. Very cool. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there, man. I appreciate everybody that has joined us and that has allowed us to go past the agreed upon time. If you have any other haps happening, go ahead and put them in Friends of First Sky Omaha. We appreciate that very much. Wanda Lewis in the chat says, if you're concerned about property pending demo, that isn't gated, please contact Lincoln Environmental, 402-442-8634. I wonder what prompted that. Let us know. Let us know about that oh, she says the old Spencer projects 26. Okay, so she's talking to somebody about the old Spencer's projects. But I like this idea here. If you're concerned about property pending demo that isn't gated, we see demo all across North Omaha all the time, and I always wonder about that too. Like they're just doing this stuff and not really kind of gating off the area and just bleeding into other people's properties and all kinds of stuff going on. If you're concerned about that, Lincoln Environmental, 402-442-8634. Appreciate that very much. She said, sorry, the number is 402-441-8634. There you go. So thank you for everybody that's joined us today. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Big shout out to the Senators for stopping through. Put some respect on their names. Big thank you to everybody for bearing with us with the tech difficulties. So we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program on Wednesday when I get back to Atlanta. But yeah, love and appreciate everybody, and catch the same time, same place. Thanks to everybody who pulled up to the Content Creators Camp. Shout out to the Culture House. And yeah, take care.
Yeah, appreciate it very much. I'm sorry that I did not get to everybody's chat message this morning. I'm sorry about that. There's a lot of them going on. I definitely encourage you to come back and check this show out in its entirety on YouTube or Facebook, and check out the chat when you do. We're still trying to work on getting the chats to see, be able to see the chat on YouTube, but we're working on that still. But yeah, go back and do that. Definitely check it out. You can at least see the Facebook versions of the chat. And let us know if you have any questions, and then definitely hit us up on Friends of First Sky Omaha with any comments. That's where we go when we're not live. So we appreciate that very much. Yes, we very much appreciate the Malik Rogers even said, I think he said, appreciate the senators giving time to share info and wisdom. So do I. And I appreciate all of your info and wisdom as well in the chat. So thank you very much. I want to give thanks to the Umaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And thanks to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. We appreciate all of your comments, and can't wait to speak with you again on Wednesday. Lots of stuff going on. We'll have other special guests coming in, and we'll be keeping up with what's going on with the DED this week as well when it comes to some of those funds that we've been talking about. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, and I appreciate everybody. Please like and subscribe, especially if you're over on YouTube. We definitely want to up the likes on YouTube. I know there's a lot of ghost listeners out there. We keep meeting more every day. There's probably 5 times ghost listeners as there are actual chat chimers, which thank goodness that'd be a lot of comments to be reading if everybody was chiming in. But we appreciate everybody that does chime in, and everybody who's a ghost listener as well. If you're a ghost listener, please go over to YouTube and hit the like as well. And also I want to thank everyone who is supporting this effort that we're making as well with monetary donations. If you're so inclined, go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the donate button, and become a reoccurring member of the channel. Thank you to the $10 people, the $25 people, the $50 people. Really appreciate everybody's support. You guys that are monthly and keeping us on our P's and Q's with doing this monthly, 3 times a week, 2 hours a day. That's what we do here, and we have a great roundtable discussion with many members of the community. All of you chat chimers and ghost listeners, we can't do it without you, so we really appreciate it. Gonna go ahead and get out of here. I don't think Buddy's coming back. So you guys have a good one, and we'll see you Wednesday. Peace.
By the way, Vanguard, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green.